MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I once again welcome you to another exciting edition of Sports for Less Daily Updates. We are not sleeping this morning because of the Flying Eagles' victory over Saudi Arabia in their second group game of the ongoing 2025 Under-20 Men's World Cup in Chile. They showed dominance over Saudi Arabia, controlled every bit of movement against Saudi Arabia, and finally they sealed 3-2 victory over Saudi Arabia. I'm going to share my opinion with respect to the team's performance this morning and also how the game went. Before I proceed with the details of the stories, if you are new on this platform, please let's do it together. Quickly subscribe to the channel. Hit on the post notification bell for more updates. Please let's like the video by showing love for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. As usual, my name still remains Ramon Kojo Asante, your only nomenclature with the engineer's philosophy in sports, a Ghanaian who has declared his full support for Nigeria sports with a Nigerian name, Solomon Chukwu Emeka. Do what to leave your decent comments in the comment box. How do you rate the performance of each and every player of the Flying Eagles this morning against Saudi Arabia? Do you think the team is having what it takes in progressing to the knockout stage and also going for the ultimate, that is winning the Under-20 World Cup tournament? Just share your candid opinion in the comment box. And no more straightforward, let's get into the video and starting from the big game between Saudi Arabia and the Flying Eagles of Nigeria national Under-20 boys. At the end of 90 minutes of soccer fiesta, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria 3, Saudi Arabia 2. And going into the game, as I earlier reported, the players were very desperate to bounce back from their defeat against Norway in their group opener of the ongoing World Cup tournament in Chile. They were stumbled and they were being placed in the situation of a must win against Saudi Arabia. And definitely they responded to that so that they needed to keep the hopes of qualifying to the knockout stage alive. And they did that perfectly this morning against Saudi Arabia. I was really happy when Ali Zubairu, head coach of the team, started with the same first 11, but with only one change. Osir Achichi didn't start. He started Sani Suleiman this time around. I was very happy seeing Ebenezer Harcourt in the post for the Flying Eagles with Amos Ochochi in the defense, Daniel Bameyi, Ahmed Akinyele, Odinaka Okoro, Daniel Daga, Israel Ayuma, with the likes of Sani Suleiman, Salihu Nasiru, Tahil Magana, and Kwarabu Ahiyahi. These were the players who started for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. On the 9 to 10 minutes of the game, we saw powerful crossing from Suleiman Sani and powerful header by Salihu Nasiru ended up the first goal for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. On the 38th minutes, Amos Ochochi had the second goal for Nigeria, but that time it was 2-1 for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. They came in the second half. Saudi Arabia equalized, and 90+4 through the efforts of Agatha. He won penalty for Nigeria, and the captain of the side, Daniel Bameyi, came out. He stood out and said, with no fear, I have to go for the power. I have to go for the victory. I am fearless in front of the ball. I have to score. And definitely, he slotted on beautifully for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. So that was how the game transpired. Several changes here and there from both Nigeria and that of Saudi Arabia. But at the end of the game, Nigeria, the Flying Eagles, kept that hope alive that they are indeed ready in qualifying for the quarter-final stage of the competition. And definitely looking at the performances of the players so far this morning, I think they can qualify to the knockout stage. If round 16 to quarterfinals, they can do it. Now let's check out how I also saw the game based on my takeaways. Let's look at the defensive ability or vulnerability from the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. I've already spoken about the defenders in the names of Daniel Bameyi, Ahmed Akinyele, I think today or this morning, we didn't see the best of Ahmed Akinlele, but we saw the best from Amos Ochochi, who had a second goal for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, and that of Odinaka Okoro. They performed to the maximum satisfaction. But in as much as we are scoring and winning games, we should also think about the lapses in the defensive line, because so far, 2 matches in the World Cup so far for the Flying Eagles, we've conceded 3 goals, one from Norway, 2 goals from Saudi Arabia. It's not the best in the tournaments, and we have to work on that going forward. And with respect to the last game against Colombia on the 5th of October 2025, let's also talk about how things work out perfectly, talking about the clutch mentality that the players had. They had that mentality that no matter what, as I said, they were in that situation of a must win. So they needed to go all out, pull out, and show that kind of resilience on the 90th minute, that is 90 plus 4, through the captain, Daniel Bameyi, to get a victory for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. They needed to leave no stone unturned, and they did that. What mattered most, and that was the time when it mattered most for them, on the 90 plus 4 minutes, slotting a beautiful penalty. The way he was very fearless in front of the ball, behind the ball, I was quite like, hey, this guy, can he score? And he proved to everyone that he's the captain of the team. When it comes to situations like this, he is there to try his possible best to prove to the team that they needed the best out of the victory against Saudi Arabia. And that was it from their winning mentality or the clutch mentality of the team. Let's also talk about the attacking persistence. We saw them dominating the likes of Salihu. He did his very best getting the first goal for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. I was much impressed with the performance of Sani Suleiman starting the game for the very first time in the second group game against Saudi Arabia. He showed that resilience for the Flying Eagles. Aside that, my main man, Sahil Magana, was a player indeed. He also dominated. But going forward, looking at the main man who has been christened with the name Victor Osimhen, Kwarabu Ariyehin, he has to work on his finishing. Being prolific is one of the attributes as a center forward. When it gets to certain times, we need you in the team to prove to them that you are the main man up front. You have to do it. So, Ariyehin, going forward, especially with the last game, this is the game that you have to showcase yourself better, that you have to do something for the Flying Eagles. And it's still a must win for the Flying Eagles, because looking at the table, I'll come back to the table, but looking at the table, it's very open among Nigeria, Colombia, and that's of Norway. So we have to go in against Colombia to get the maximum points. That is 3 points. With the 3 points, automatically you'll be qualifying from Group F of the ongoing Under-20 World Cup in Chile. And on that note, let's talk about the various matches so far in the 2025 Under-20 World Cup tournaments. And looking at the performances, United States of America 3, France 0, Colombia in the same group with Nigeria had 0-0 scoreline with Norway. So they shared their spoils. And looking at it, and at this moment, with Nigeria with 3-2 victory over Saudi Arabia. This is the standing from Group F as it stands now. Colombia is leading with 4 points plus 1 goal. Norway is having 4 points plus a goal. And Nigeria, the Flying Eagles, is third with 3 points, 0 goals. Saudi Arabia with 0 points minus 2 goals. So the group is very open. As I said, any country in this group can make it to the knockout stage. Colombia can go, Norway can go, Nigeria can go. So going forward, I think we have to try as much as we can to give our maximum support to the Flying Eagles. They've won our hearts. Quickly, we have to do that by supporting the team. And I know, looking at the performances so far from their 2 matches, they can improve on to make it better in their last game, and also, if God being so good, qualifying to the knockout stage, we can also improve from there. And that is that from the game. And so far, so good with the performances of African countries in this World Cup tournaments. We are trying our very best aside Egypt, who have been defeated in their 2 matches in their group. South Africa this morning defeated that of New Caledonia by 5 goals to 0. Nigeria won against Saudi Arabia by 3 goals to 2. And Morocco is also doing the very best for Africa. So we have to try as much as we can to support all these countries so that at least we can get something better back home in Africa. And that's coming in from the camp of the Flying Eagles with respect to other national teams from Africa in the ongoing 2025 Under-20 FIFA Men's World Cup in Chile. You can also drop your comments. Just try as much as you can to support the Flying Eagles. We wish we could have buttressed it with evidence based on the videos, but we don't have the rights of the videos. We don't own them, but subsequently we'll try as much as we can to improve by adding certain videos to it. And that is that. I was being supported by my hardworking chief editor, Emmanuel Kwame Asiedu, and my amazing graphic designer, Dominic. Let's meet in the next one. It's bye for now.